people get involved in your campaign. They say, you know what, I love this woman, I love what she's doing, she's fighting for us. This is John Villarreal reporting for Conservative New Media.
I love what I'm doing now. I left television in 2001. Among other reasons, and you'll read this in the book Climate Gauge, I was having just an increasing number of arguments with people in the newsroom regarding this bias that they had, which was becoming more and more evident. And the killer for me was Al Gore's coming to California. It's 1997. He's vice president. He's having an El Nino weather summit down in Santa Monica. And he was trying to tie El Nino into global warming. And our producer said, you're going down to Santa Monica, you're going to front our coverage, we really want to talk about El Nino, it's huge, and we want to tie that into global warming. I said, well, hey, I'll do El Nino for you. I'm not doing the tie-in between El Nino and global warming, because even the scientists who believe in man-caused global warming won't tie the two together. There's just no science to do that. And big argument in the newsroom, producer pulls me aside and says, Brian, your problem is you don't know which facts to leave out. Now, that hit me in the gut. You know, this was a business that I had been in and I'd loved for many years. And when I heard that from this executive producer, I thought, okay, I know where this is going. I know where this is going. Then Dan Rather comes to town, and Dan Rather was the anchorman on CBS Evening News, did that for many, many years, as some of you will remember. And Dan Rather knew me because I used to fill in on the CBS Morning News with Harry Smith in New York, which nobody watched then, and nobody watches now. But I was there. And so I got to know Dan Rather, and Dan Rather comes to town, he's doing the news from the Channel 5 studios in San Francisco, and Dan said, Brian, we need an El Nino correspondent on the West Coast for the CBS Evening News, you're the guy. And I'm thinking, I'll be on the CBS Evening News on a regular basis. This is huge. It's great for my career. It'll be great for the bottom line. And then he said, plus, this tie-in between global warming and El Nino, I know you'll have some great things to say about it. To which I said, sorry, Mr. Rather, but there's no tie-in between the two. At that moment, Dan Rather, king of all media, looked at me with daggers in his eyes, and that was the end of the conversation. No more me being on the CBS Evening News. And in fact, it was shortly after that I was no longer on the CBS Morning News. So that's when I knew things were changing. I wanted to get out of the biz. I wanted to say what I really wanted to say. And I wanted to give it a try at talk radio. I thought there couldn't be anything more challenging. I want to give it a whirl. So there was a problem. Every station I went to said the same thing. This is talk radio, and it's political talk radio, and you're the weather guy. What are you going to do, give a long-range forecast? And nobody would take me, and finally KSFO gave me an opportunity, and things have worked out really well from there, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. So I love talking, thank you. I love talking politics. You know that from listening to the broadcast between 5 and 9. And I sit there with that smart officer Vic every morning who rumbles into the room at about 5 to 5, still hungover from the night before, but he gets it together and he does a great job. And he's just the funniest guy in the world. I laugh my rear out every morning with that guy. And the ratings are doing well. And you know, we tell a few jokes, we have a few laughs, and we hit the hard topics. We take a few calls, we talk to great guests. It's a lot of fun. Oh, and I love this. Here in California, we've got this beautiful thing happening. Barbara Boxer is about to go bye-bye. No, this is true. Her numbers are so poor right now. She is on her way out. There's no question about it. And Carly Fiorina, I've got news for you. I've seen this woman in action. She really is the real deal on all cylinders. Okay? She's the real deal. Oh, yeah. Barbara Boxer, one of the dimmest light bulbs in the shop. Yeah. Have you ever seen this woman talk without notes? You never have, because she won't. And when she does, it's a disaster. She was on the tube last weekend. We're flipping around the dials. There's the San Bruno disaster. Barbara Boxer sees this as an opportunity, so she goes down to San Bruno. She hasn't been to San Bruno her entire adult life. She's never been there before. I mean, the closest she's been to San Bruno is Hillsborough, because that's where all the money is. She's never been to San Bruno before. She's been to Hillsborough for fundraisers. She would never go to San Bruno. She's in San Bruno talking up the disaster. And she's speaking, and my wife said, what is the matter with her? And my wife's kind of a casual observer of all this. She listens to me on the radio, but she doesn't listen to everything Barbara Boxer says. I do, she doesn't. Is something wrong with her? Did she have a stroke? What is it? I said, no, she's just stupid. She can't talk without notes. I'm serious. See, there's not, people are pulling this woman's strings, and they have been for the longest time. So Barbara Boxer, she meets the magic genie, and she asks for her 3 wishes. And she says, okay. I want good hair.
Right.
I really want to be smart.
Yeah, right.
And those Tea Party people, I'd like to be appealing to them. Poof! She turns into Sarah Palin. Okay, so here's the one I love. Reporters have been questioning Nancy Pelosi about this rumor that if the Republicans take the House, and by the way, hello, they will, because of you, because of thousands of groups just like this tonight, meeting all across America this weekend. Thousands of groups just like this, meeting all across America this weekend. Okay, this is happening everywhere. This group started in February. This is incredible. This is happening everywhere in America. We're going to see great change. So the rumor is Nancy Pelosi, assuming she loses the speaker's position, she will retire shortly thereafter. This is not a woman who wants to be number 2, okay? Yes, fine, retire, get out of here, go, please. So a reporter finally asked her about this, and she remained tight-lipped and tight foreheaded, and tight eyelidded. Okay, so my book, again, we've got copies outside. After this, please, I will sign them for you. We were able to get a discount from the publisher. The book has been really exciting, and I thank you so much for your support. Climate Gate, a veteran meteorologist, exposes the global warming scam. It's done extremely well. I'm so blessed for a first time out. The book was originally, well, my wife, who is somewhere, but I've known Sue since we started dating when we were 18. As long as she's known me, I have always had this little penchant for getting factoids, just stuff that nobody knows about or nobody really pays attention to, and I throw these things at her, and I'll never forget the first one in college. It's Earth Day, and I said, do you know what Earth Day is? Do you know what April 22nd is?
Yeah.
It's Vladimir Lenin's birthday. Hello? And she's like, no way. And it's the truth. Vladimir Lenin's birthday, April 22nd. I talk about it in my book. It's no coincidence. I make a pretty good case for the fact that this was the plan. And then there were other things along the way. For example, I came across this statement from a guy named Paul Ehrlich, who wrote The Population Bomb, that I had to read when I was in high school. And Paul Ehrlich teaches at Stanford to this day. And Paul Ehrlich is a Malthusian. And Paul Ehrlich said, and I remember telling her this, Paul Ehrlich said, an abundant and cheap source of energy for the people would be like giving an idiot child a machine gun. To which she said, no way. And I said, way! And then Paul Ehrlich comes out with his second book, big book, in 1990 called Population Explosion. And on the cover of the book, there's an endorsement, and he's not changing his tune. He still believes abundant and cheap energy is like giving an idiot child a machine gun, and he says something else in this book. He says, the population explosion is like cancer. And just like with cancer, you have to cut it out of the body, so shall you have to do with the earth. And the operation may be brutal and ruthless. This is what he says about overpopulation. I shared this with my wife, and she says, no way! I said, wait. So on this book, who has a blurb on the dust cover? It's Al Gore. Al Gore, 1990, senator, ready to become vice president. Al Gore saying every politician should read what's in this book. And she said, no way. No way. And I said, what? So this has been going on forever. And so finally, she comes to me maybe 3 years ago, says, listen, all these no ways. You gotta write a book. You need to write a book and you need to call it No Way. Well, this is a no-brainer. I'll do that. So I wrote all of these no ways, and I sent it to a friend of mine who's probably written about 30 books. He used to be a former speechwriter for Ronald Reagan, and his name's Lee Troxler. And I sent it to Lee, and I said, Lee, please tell me what you think. You know, this is my idea for the book. Here's a couple sample chapters, outline. Tell me what you think. So he gets back to me a couple weeks later, and he said, Brian, no way. No way. And I said, no way. He said, no way. I said, what's the problem? He said, well, it's just, they're really interesting stuff, but you got to wrap it around a theme. I mean, what theme are you really into? I said, well, global warming. He said, there you go. Take it all together, put it around the global warming post, and go with it. So I did that. The book originally was called No Way, then it was changed to Global Whining. And then the publisher, with these emails that had been leaked from the CRU, the Climate Research Unit in East Anglia in November, said, we're going to sell a lot of books now. We're going to call it ClimateGate, because this is the ClimateGate email scandal. That's what we're going to do. So we changed the name, and it's been very, very exciting. And Al Gore hates the book. And he hates the website that promotes the book, which is entitled debatemealgore.com. So, here's the deal. We are facing several threats as a country right now. We all know that. We've got the Islamo-fascists. We have a president in the White House who is, in my opinion, acting as an enemy of state on so many levels. And we have the pillars of morality and virtue that our founders warned us of. They said these cannot crumble. You've got to have these pillars of morality and virtue. Otherwise, this constitutional republic will never stand. But then we've got another one, and it's the environmental movement. And this is my bailiwick. The environmental movement is an enemy of state. And